Yeah, so on this task, this was about the escape room. So a virtual escape room. So the two teams were split into two. I believe one of the teams, the boys, has been losing for the last few weeks. So Alan decided to mix it up and put some of the girls onto the boys team. So that has shaken that up. The
Yeah, I
teams,
put some of the boys in the girls team as well, isn't it? So it's now mixed, and they had to choose their team names as well.
yeah, that changed it. He put some boys on the other team. Oh, okay. I thought just some girls went onto one team.
So
Okay. Also, both
yeah,
team are mixed together. Ah, fair. Okay, that's good.
yeah. So I think one team was called Supreme Team, and the Supreme was spelled Pream to rhyme with team, which is very bizarre.
That's
What was the other one called?
Alpha. No, I was gonna say
Apex
Alpha. I don't think it was that. I'm not sure on the other one.
Okay.
I'm not sure on the other one. But yeah, and then so the teams were tasked with creating a virtual escape room. So it's like kind of like a virtual game, and then they were gonna then it was like a demo that they had to do, and then they were gonna show this demo to industry experts. The industry experts will then decide which of them that they would want to invest in, and then the one that gets the biggest investment then wins the task. So that was effectively it. And then there was somebody called Asif who had previously not done well in the first two tasks. On the last episode of The Apprentice, he did say that whatever the task is, Sir Alan, I'm going to put myself up. So we already knew that he was going to be team captain for this one, for one of the tasks.
Right.
So this was the one that he was going to be team captain for. So he was the team leader for it. So yeah, and that was that put him under pressure from the start, you could say.
And I think on the other side, it was the lady that I should have her name. Oh, it's okay. If you can think of the name, it was the lady that did really well on the previous task with regards to the corporate negotiation, which she
I
kind
know
of
the one
had.
you're talking about.
Yeah, so she was the project manager on the other team.
She's pretty good. Let me find out her name. 1 second. Okay, so you're talking about Flo.
Okay, Flo. On the other team, I believe, which was Team Apex, we had Flo, who did really well on the previous task, which we talked about in our last podcast. She did really well in terms of the corporate negotiation. So she was the project manager on that side.
Yeah, and I think Onyeka was one of the sub-team leaders, wasn't she, for this task as well?
It's been 3 weeks in a row where she's either been leader or sub-team leader. So, yeah, quite interesting.
I do remember you were saying that that she's got to be careful with that, didn't you? In terms of, I remember you said it literally at the start of the episode that she's got to be careful with it. Yeah.
Careful, because I think
why was that?
What will happen, she has a target on her back because Lord Sugar knows her. You're more likely to be brought into the boardroom if you have a position of responsibility. Of course, you don't want to get to the end of the process and you've never been team leader. You want to be able to show your skills. However, I think you have to be strategic about it. Show your skills when it's going to make you shine the most, rather than just just always wanting to put yourself forward. But I think also you don't choose to be sub team leader. It's the project manager that decides that. So I think perhaps also it's a vote of confidence from the other contestants. They've seen her in action, so they say, okay, I trust you to be my sub team leader for my task because I think you will help me to win. So I guess you could spin it both ways.
That's a good point. So what did you think of in terms of the task? In terms of the task, how do you think it went for the contestants?
I think this task was interesting. It's quite a creative task because the contestants had to create their own escape room game and then pitch it. And I think what The Apprentice, obviously, is also a TV show, so they give you a reduced amount of time to produce this, and obviously they split the teams as well. So I think one team will do the branding, whilst the other team develops the idea. So I guess the key is communication at the start of the day. So at the start of the day, when they're brainstorming, each team needs to be super duper clear on what they're doing, so that the brand and the promotional video matches matches the actual game that's been created. So yeah, I think it's a good task, but it's also can be quite challenging if it doesn't suit your skill set, I would say. What did you think about the task?
I don't think it's one of my favorite ones. I think I prefer the ones where they're maybe selling stuff, to be honest. But I think it certainly tests their creativity and certainly their presentation. When they're doing a presentation, I suppose there's the opportunity to, when they're looking to pitch it, so the opportunity to, that's their opportunity in terms of the selling time, when they're able to try and convince
Potentially, I guess.
experts to invest.
Yeah, potentially, but I guess the challenging part is if you don't truly believe in the product, that can be quite challenging. Or if you've received quite negative feedback for the product, then that could be quite challenging. I think what I was thinking when I was watching this episode was that it's really key in business. So taking this out of The Apprentice is really key to have like your team set up, because everyone is not a creative person. Everyone is not a good pitcher. Like everyone has their own individual skill set, and it just made me think. Like I hope people watching at home don't think that they need to be jack of all trades in business. You just you need to be able to identify your strengths and identify your weaknesses. Then you can bring people on board who can then fill in those gaps. But of course, with The Apprentice, it's a TV show, so you're kind of forced to try your best with a range of different skills depending on the task. So yeah,
absolutely. And so what did you I believe there was one of the teams went for like a medieval theme, and the other team went for
that medieval logo.
What did I think of the logo?
I
thought it was all right. I think it probably just needed like maybe a bit more color, maybe some experimentation with the color, but I thought it was all right personally. I don't think it was as bad as they were making it out to be. I thought it was all right. Like a lot of times,
I thought it was
very what?
No, what were you gonna say? Very basic. It's just like a white background with medieval escape.
I thought it was.
What the heck is this?
I thought it was cream.
Sorry?
I thought it was cream.
Oh, it was cream. Okay.
And then it had some funky lettering.
Yeah, I just thought I would have expected a little bit more. Maybe they could have done like a black background, brown or something. But then the team leader, Flo, was really happy. So I guess they did a good job. I guess that was within the spec that she gave the team. So she was really happy. But then I think Noor wasn't quite impressed. It was quite interesting because someone challenged her and said, "Okay, what would you have put on the logo?" She said, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe an icon or something."
Oh, did they? Did she get challenged? Oh, she the one that was moaning that she could do better.
Yeah, she was the yeah. So she was. To be honest, I think the last few episodes, she has kind of showed herself to be a bit of a complainer. So I think she needs to be a bit careful there, because if she's ever project manager, she might end up getting undermined. Because people are like, well, you've always undermined me. Let me also use this as a chance to voice my opinion.
Yeah.
But, it's fine to have an opinion, but it was just so funny how she was like, I think it's too basic. And they said, okay, what would you have added? So she said, I don't know.
Of course she doesn't know. We've seen that type of behavior. I've seen it loads of times where people talk a good game about, oh, I could, it should have been me. I would have done this. I would have done that. But a lot of times, what would they have actually done? They haven't got anything to say. There's not really much to back it up. It's just mouth. They think they could have done better, but it's easy to say. But when you haven't actually done it, then it's a different matter,
Right.
So it's we've seen that before.
Yeah, and then I think for the medieval escape, I think they had, is it Ty or Tyre, the black guy? I don't remember how they pronounce it.
Or Trey.
Oh, Trey. Sorry, my bad. I read it wrong. Trey.
Maybe.
Yes, and I think on Medieval Escape they had Trey, who was the person that did the little video, the promotional video. When he was saying, we need to be saved from the Black Plague. And I thought that video looked really good. What did you think?
Oh, the one when they were on an island and then they were running from some bears.
No, not that one.
Oh, that's the other one.
So, the Medieval Escape, if you recall, so each team also had a promotional video.
Oh yeah, the medieval one. Yes, I remember that one. Yeah, that one. I think that one was more like an escape room that you would think of when you think of escape room. Yeah, that was more a traditional escape room.
The promotional video. Yes, I think that was pretty good. And then in terms of the game itself, I think Flo was quite controlling. It's fair to say, or let me say, she was quite specific with regards to what she wanted to be included in the game. She seemed to be just shutting everyone else down when they had ideas with regards to the escape room. And it's quite interesting because I think she had a specific idea in her mind, but then the feedback she got from her other team members was that it's a bit basic. It didn't really seem like an escape room. You just collect items and then that's it. The game is finished.
Yeah.
What did you think of their game?
It looked well, but that is an escape room though. That is what happens there. Maybe it could have done with like a time limit or something, but that is typically what an escape room is. Yeah.
I think a time limit is usually in an escape room. Also, maybe like more jeopardy. So like if you get this, if you answer this question, or if you pick up this, then it will enable you to. I guess it will give you a key. From the key, you can unlock something. From that something, you can get something else. I think they wanted it to be a bit more add a bit more jeopardy or add a bit more, make it so it's a bit more challenging, so it's a bit more fun rather than you just, okay, you see something on the floor, you pick it up, and then you just you leave. So, but I get what you mean in the sense that, yeah, it was more traditional, or particularly more than the other team anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then go on, sorry.
No, go on.
No, I was going to say, talking of the other team, so the other team had the island theme, with Escape the Island theme. You wanna?
Oh yeah, but then they put the name. What was it? Fallen Escape?
Fallen Escape, yeah. I think it started off with the intro, isn't it? But the intro was really long. Like it was like something out of the military. It was like a military type. Remember? Attention.
Yeah.
Attention.
Yeah.
Then she went on some speech for like 5 minutes. It was bizarre. Yeah.
In the boardroom, it's so interesting because in the boardroom, if you think about it, it's like everybody's sober-minded. You look at the logo and you think, what the heck is that? But I think when they were in the room creating it, they had the thought process, which is that, okay, we'll have the two E so that it looks like you're escaping left or right. So you can kind of understand their thought process, but the execution just was not great. I think someone said it looked like a petrol station sign.
Oh, yeah.
which I do agree.
I can see the similarity, yeah. I think it was those E's.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
And then as you said, the intro video was just, it just didn't convey escape room at all. It was more so like, what's that called, Metal Gear Solid or something like that, like some kind of military game. It wasn't really like giving escape room vibes.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the game, what did you think of the game itself, which was led by Onyeka in regards to like the game?
Yeah, it was bizarre. Again, I think I think it was the end bit in particular. So they were running from a bear. And then they finally got to the destination. Then he's doing a dance. The first time I saw it, I actually thought, why? If you just run from a bear, why would you be doing a dance? Like, that's just bizarre. But maybe that was for comedic effect. But then they did question them on that in the...
Yeah.
What's it called? During the presentation. And then he says...
I don't think it was for comedic effect. I think...
Huh? Who was the one that was doing the pitch for that?
It was the team leader. Yes, we can talk about that. So the pictures was the team leader. Do you remember his name? Oh, it's
Asif. Is it Asif?
Yes, you're right. Asif. Oh, Dr. Asif. Yes. Okay, cool. So in that pitch was Dr. Asif. I think he brought in Onyeka because Onyeka created the game. So so the team leader brought in. He brought in Onyeka, which made sense because she developed the game. But then I think his team were a bit surprised because he also brought in. So
are you talking about the pitch here? Are you talking about the?
Yeah, the pitch.
Okay, go on.
Okay, I think his team was surprised. Sorry, I'm just trying to find who's that Asian girl, the short one.
Well, the one that was moaning.
No, not that one. The one that was in the pitch that froze.
Amina, is it?
Amina, is it?
The one that was in a pitch that froze.
Yeah, she was brought back into the.
Oh, Amina.
Yes, Amina. Yeah, Amina. Yeah. So the project manager Yusuf, he brought back Onyeka, which made sense. But then some of his team were a bit surprised because I think he swapped out some of the team that was with him. One of the people that he brought in was Amina, who she didn't really know much about the game itself because she was in the design team. She was with Yusuf, so people were a bit confused as to why she was there. And sadly, or unfortunately, should I say, she kind of froze on stage. So she was just sort of, it's not funny. I guess it can happen to anyone, but she was just like a deer in headlights on stage. Unfortunately that didn't quite go to plan. And the pitch was interesting because I think the panel were laughing, weren't they? During the pitch, they were laughing because they just couldn't believe it. Like, why are there bears like chasing after them? Why are you dancing? And just like what you said. And then I think they were like, so is this supposed to be sort of surreal? Is it supposed to be sort of like funny and just out there? And Yusuf was like, no. It's supposed to be very realistic. This is supposed to be factual based. And they were like, sorry? Yeah. What's factual about that?
Yeah, you can see their faces drop one by one, isn't it?
Yeah. They were like, what? So Onyeka clocks. So she tried to save the day and be like, oh no, it is supposed to be surreal. But I think the panel wasn't convinced that, it wasn't a very good, that they had sort of mixed answers on that one.
Yeah, too little,
and I think
too late.
The pitch kind of just went a bit downhill from there, really. I think the panel were just a bit, wasn't really that impressed with the name, Fallen Escape, and things of that nature. So, yeah. And then I think on the other side, did you have any thoughts?
No, carry on.
Okay. And I think on the other side, so could you talk us through the pitch on the other side?
So the pitch on the other side, I believe it was Flo that led that pitch, which started off a bit shaky, or the the bit that they showed was shaky, but the rest of it sounded good. I think once he finally gathered herself, and that one was of the medieval game. I think they were not sure what else happened on that one, but
yeah, I think it was more so that they kind of felt like what was unique about it, what was special. But otherwise, I don't think, not that I don't recall them having that many issues about it, but it was just more so like, okay, what else? Like, what makes the game exciting? Like, why would we want to work with you kind of thing? Yeah. So it's quite interesting. So who did you think would win? Did you have an idea of who would win the task at that point?
Well, they made it seem like Flo had really messed up her pitch, so it sounded, but at the same time, you could tell they didn't really like, I could tell that the bit where they messed up, or the team messed up, Asif's team messed up, was when they were talking about what's it called? When they were talking about if they, if it's supposed to be serious or if it's supposed to be a bit of fun. And you could tell they messed up that bit. So it's difficult to say at that point, to be honest.
Yeah, fair. And then in the boardroom, we found out that Flo's team won. So I guess in terms of how to determine the winners, it would be the panel. How much money would they be willing to invest in the company to develop the company? And it's quite interesting because we touched upon this in our previous podcast, which is that it seems like the invited panels and corporate clients, etc., they seem to be a bit nicer this year, because I've definitely seen ones where they've said we wouldn't invest anything, or we wouldn't make, or if it was something where they have to make orders, we wouldn't order any. I've definitely seen episodes where they kind of just not been impressed at all. Whereas this time, I think the Yusuf's team, I think they said they would invest £50,000. So I was thinking, oh wow, like maybe they ended up winning the task. But then they revealed that Flo's team, they would be willing to invest £100,000. Was it 100,000? Was it £150,000? Okay, let me just say. And on Flo's team, they revealed that they would be willing to invest at least £100,000 into their idea. So yes, Flo's team won the task, and Yusuf's team lost. Yeah, and then you were talking about Yusuf bringing in, like, not being sure about who he wanted to bring into the boardroom.
Yeah, absolutely. So certainly it was something that we've not seen probably in a long time. I don't even remember the last time I saw something like that. So he at first brought back, I think he brought back, was it Onyeka he brought back? I'd imagine.
Yes, yeah.
Brought back Onyeka, and then he brought back one of the other girls, I think.
Should we just have a quick look?
Yeah.
Asif, can you tell me which two people you're bringing back into this boardroom?
Lord Sugar, on the basis of the game being very rudimentary, I would like to bring back Onyeka, and for perceived lack of contribution, I'd like to bring back Sam.
Who?
Sam.
Are you having me on? I've made massive contributions.
Can I change?
Why did you say to me, can I change? Are you indecisive or what?
It's not indecisiveness, it's just...
Well, it must be.
I like Sam's rebuttal. I would like to bring back Amina and Onyeka.
Why is that, sorry?
She's rebutting. What are you going to do now?
That's fine. That's my final decision.
I think I put a solid shift in both days, Asif.
And I saved you from the pitch.
Yeah, we actually helped you. You know that, Asif.
Right, OK. I'll tell you what we're going to do. You now confuse me. So 4 of you are coming back in here. The rest of you have escaped. So get back to the house.
Right, so I don't know if you heard that. Did you hear that?
Yeah, and I must say, Lord Sugar's one-liners are just impeccable.
Yes.
Absolutely, but you can tell they're just off the dome. Like, they're just,
Yeah.
The rest of you haven't escaped. Go back, you've escaped, go back. You're just brilliant.
Yeah.
So should we recap that part then?
So, yeah,
Are you gonna play that?
so interestingly, I'm going to play that part, yeah. So interestingly, so Sam piped up. I've not actually heard her speak that much.
You could say Yusuf wanted to bring Sam back. Here you go.
Yeah, so Yusuf wanted to bring Sam back. No, not Yusuf, Asif. Asif wanted to bring...
Oh, sorry.
Asif wanted to bring Sam back. Well, you can see she... Well, he said he liked her rebuttal, but all she said is, how you having me on?
I know, so it was embarrassing because, I mean, we've been watching Apprentice for years, like we spoke about in the first Apprentice roundup, and people always protest. Well, why are you bringing me back? Well, it's a natural thing because people are defensive and, they need to prepare for battle. So for her to be like, are you having me on? And him to be like, okay, all right, I'll make a change.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Also, I think, considering he was project manager because he wasn't really performing well on the previous 2 tasks. To kind of show that indecisive of Lord Sugar, just not good form.
I think he was trying to be smart. So he reason he wanted to pick Sam is he's probably going to try and say, oh, she didn't do much. But when he saw the fiery return, then he thought, oh, I might be in trouble here. Okay, let's go for the other quiet person. Let's go for Amina. But then Amina's now giving him fire as well. So suddenly he's thinking, oh goodness, what am I gonna do?
I felt like he did seem a bit frozen when Amina rebutted.
Exactly.
So Sugar was like,
he wasn't expecting it.
She's rebutted too. Are you gonna change again? And then Lord Sugar did something unprecedented where he was like, well, okay, I'm going to make the decision. All 4 of you are coming back. Which I thought was good because he meant that Asif didn't have to choose. Lord Sugar's like, right, everyone's coming back in. We'll see what really happened. So, but yeah, not Asif's finest, fortunately.
No, it wasn't. It probably contributed to him getting fired as well. So
yeah, because Lord Sugar is not him. Because if you think about it, on the task, he's not on the task. He's hearing back from Karen and Tim and perhaps the producers as well with regards to people's performance. But now he's seen in front of him someone just, all like he said, all Sam did was say, "Are you having me?"
Yeah.
He's like, okay, no worries, we'll choose someone else.
Yeah.
So then for him to now later on be like, yeah, I led the task well, it's like,
embarrassing.
I'm not sure. I remember he was already kind of like, on a tipping point because, last episode, Lord Sugar was potentially going to fire him last week. So, you need to show a strong performance, for Lord Sugar to kind of give you another chance. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So he was already on his last chance and he blew it. So I think, ultimately, I think it was the right decision. I think there was no real other choice. I think he's blown his, especially after that big talk last time. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, interestingly enough, one thing that I did find quite strange was Onyeka took the entire responsibility for the game. And I remember on the task, other people contributing. I think there were some people that were saying, we really need the Bears. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't just her sort of bulldozing everyone else. I think other people contribute. So I'm surprised she didn't say, look, we did it as a team. I might have been sub-team leader, but I asked for consensus.
It's a good point, actually. It's a good point. She does tend to, when she makes decisions, it does tend to be, let's put this to a vote. And you even saw that in the last game, the last task when they did the cheesecake day. We've got an episode on the cheesecake. If you haven't seen that one yet, do look it up. We've got an episode on the cheesecake as well. But on that cheesecake episode, she did also... No, sorry, not the cheesecake episode. The corporate away day. We've got an episode on the corporate away day as well. On the corporate away day episode, on that episode, she wanted to do out of water, but they wanted to do something in the water, like a team activity that was in the water. And then she put it to a consensus. So even though she lost, she still went for the consensus. So she does tend to put things to votes when she wants to make a decision. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think we've seen the personalities that are very much, no, it's my way or the highway. Sort of like Flo was very much, thanks for your contribution, but I'm not interested. Like, I have a vision for this game. The game will be my vision. Full stop. I didn't get that impression, and I'm pretty sure the editors would have portrayed that if that was the case, but they showed a collaborative effort. So I was very, very surprised. I mean, she needs to really, the game is about trying to stay in as much as possible. Because then what happened was Lord Sugar said, well, then therefore you are responsible for the failure of the task because the product was bad. And, also another thing is that it was Asif that was saying, no, this product is very serious. It's very factual. It's very realistic. So he kind of bulldozed it. Whereas Tim said that apparently the panel had said, if they had said, it's surreal, it's bonkers, if they had owned it, they would have invested £100,000 more. So they would have actually won the task. So you cannot really say Onyeka is the failure of the task. I just think she didn't defend herself well enough, with regards to saying, no, it was a collaborative effort. I chose by consensus. I led it, but it was by consensus. And I tried to save Yusuf, and I tried to save Asif in the pitch. So, yeah, interesting one. Because Lord Sugar definitely said, you are the cause of the task failing, which is quite you don't want to have Lord Sugar, have that in his mind when he thinks about you. Because if you lose again, you might end up going.
Yeah.
Just because Lord Sugar now saying, look, you performed badly in previous tasks. Now you've lost again, it's time for you to go.
Yeah, absolutely. It wouldn't look good. Yeah. So probably, So maybe... Well, I don't know. She might see it in two ways. In one way, she might see it as she needs to prove herself in the next episode, or in the other way, it might seem like actually she needs to take a step back and let others have their time in the final line. So wait and see what she does.
I think definitely let others. I think shine where you can shine, but if you want to stay in the game, you know, if you're not the project manager, you just have to try to contribute as much as possible, but not like you said, put yourself in the firing lines where we can now point to you and say you are the sole reason, and you never want to hear those words.
Yeah,
But,
no, absolutely.
yeah, as you mentioned, Asif actually got fired, and I think it was the right decision because he was the project manager, and the task was just all over the place. It was just higgledy-piggledy from start to finish, and also he kind of torpedoed the pitch as well. He chose Amina to come on stage where she had no knowledge of the product, and she froze. Also the logo was awful. The promotional video was also, I just think, you know, there was a lot of errors there, and I think it was the right decision for him to go. Yeah,
no, absolutely. So that's I completely agree as well.
Yeah, so guys, we really want to get your feedback, your opinions, your thoughts. What did you think of the episode? What did you think of our summary? Did you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Who are you liking? Who are you thinking of potential, you know, apprentice winners? You know, if you have any at this point in time, who are you keeping an eye on? Who do you think is still there just by the skin of their teeth? Guys, we're going to keep this series going. We love The Apprentice here. And we hope you do too. If you haven't started watching Apprentice, check it out. It's on BBC iPlayer. It's available for you to watch all of the episodes so far from season 18. So yeah, all that's left to say is that we'll see you in our next episodes. Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Awesome.
It's so funny. I was about to press the button, but I realised if I press the button, it's going to hang up.